with the recap of the candidates from today, round 13, Monday, April 26th. Also, etc. Mainly, etc. Let's see. How come it's on Karen's stream and it's not on mine? What? That's weird because it says it's gone 18 seconds. All right, let me refresh. I've never had that happen. That's funny. I started the stream and it started and it said, and then nothing happened. It didn't change at all. It just had the away screen and then it said how many seconds it was. So I just refreshed and now it's here. That's weird. I've never had that happen. Where I needed to refresh to look at the stream. Weird. Frankly, delicious. Eh? Yeah. So we're gonna do the game analysis. I got this shirt from my closet. I've had this shirt for 9 years. Worn this shirt a million times, but mainly in St. Louis. Yeah. That was weird how I couldn't watch the stream because I shouldn't cross the streams. Let's see. I'm opening a space theme. Peruvian chicken place. Polo 11. All right. Somebody needs to get banned. That's, from the closet. You get them from my closet? Harsh. You get mine from the floor? Yeah. I don't keep my clothes on the floor. Used to. Karen's making herself pretty and, getting a beer, I guess. I don't know. She's doing something. So today was an interesting day. I didn't even have to use my AK because it was a good day. Yeah, there we go. There's a bottle opener. You just can't find it. There should be like a couple bottles. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Tactically blundered is raiding with a party of 4. That's the largest raid I've had this stream, I think. Yay, it's Pam. She subscribed at tier 1. That's better than subscribing at Pier 1. I think they closed. Thanks, Pam. You're the best. The Rock Obama gave 1 cent to do. Hooray, etc. Yeah. Once again, there was an embarrassing happenstance at the Magnus tournament. There were several games that were fake, and the last round between So and Nakamura was the symmetrical bond cloud. People are getting pretty mad on the internet. That organizers, sponsors spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and the players just make it just a joke. So, yeah, there were a lot of games that were just silly draws. And they're getting some flack from it on Twitter, but they're not getting any flack on Slack. And that's the fact, Jack. See you tomorrow. Got to go on a high note. It's Karen. Man, Karen's skinnier than I thought. I can only see like a third of her. Let's see.
I did it.
I'm good. That joke was whack. It's true. Gawain Jones is typical of a player who's about as good as the top players, but no experience. Gawain Jones isn't playing, super GM tournaments one after another. He's playing Eric Rosen and on Twitter on chess.com and Lee Chess. So yeah. But he obviously plays really well. Opening's good tactics. Time management wasn't great. But yeah, that's a tough indoctrination, especially for the Norwegian Christensen. Yeah. Man, he was 0-5. Then he drew his next 3 games. Then he lost a lot. Yeah, but that's what you expect from the the bottom players. They're not playing 7-move draws. Yeah.
Hey, Keffings. Is that really true? Trying to learn about Magnus being caught on camera scratching his balls. Is that a joke?
No. GM Benjamin gave 100 cents to dues. Thank you. Jan Tamagotchi subscribed, confusing me. Yeah. What I saw reported on Reddit. Yeah.
Waiting for the clip. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's only natural.
I think after all those like 5-10 move draws he had, Magnus was probably just wondering if he still had balls. He's like, where are they? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you got no cojones. How come the Chinese still don't dominate chess? Well, if you go to the World Team Championship or the Olympiad, the Chinese are the favorite. But individual tournament, they have like 5 players at least, maybe 6, who are 2,700 FIDE. But at the very, very, very top, you know, just like 1 player from every country. So, yeah, in a team aspect, they're quite good. You know, Script Monkey. I wonder if that's supposed to be a joke on Skripchenko, but I don't think so. But maybe. Subscribed. Xenoid gave 400 cents to dues as always. Council of Rooks subscribed. Now let me explain the Council of Rooks to you.
Yeah.
On Rick and Morty, there's the Council of Ricks. And then they're in charge of, you know, the Citadel. Right.
But what about the we're going streaking in the quad part?
I don't know.
That's not a Rick and Morty reference.
Could be. I don't know if that is. Whack-a-Graggle subscribed.
Or maybe he's really going streaking in the quad.
Yeah, Kasparov's always trying to win the Nakamura Sportsmanship Award. This is typical Kasparov. He does this all the time. Before and after tournaments, even when he was playing them, he would say this person shouldn't play in the tournament because they're not good enough. This time he waited until after the tournament. Because if he said it before the tournament and they came in first and second, he has to wait, sees who comes in last, and then say they shouldn't be in the tournament.
I do give 2 hoots about Ben's interest. You know, it did not occur to you that I might like chess too?
Who are you
I
talking
like chess.
about?
Dropkick Morphe.
Oh, you know. People,
I'm not listening to what Ben's saying right now because I'm reading the chat.
Yeah, people on the internet aren't too bright.
Ben and I have a lot of the same interests.
Your wife is gorgeous. I know it. Right. I mean, Kasparov was always talking shit about everybody else. That's what he does.
2 hooters.
Yeah, many years ago, he played in a round robin where one of the players was John Vanderweel, the Dutch GM. And Kasparov tried to have him kicked out of the tournament before the tournament started and replaced with somebody better. And the organizers were like, no. And then they drew in the event.
Well, it's true I don't like all the sports, and I'm going to give you that.
200 cents a dues. Hooray.
Want a sip of that beer. This is a beer. I'm not even sure exactly how we got this beer.
Gray Marmalade gifted 5 subs. Yay.
It's pretty good. It's kind of sweet. Yeah, I had my second vaccination shot this morning, Sir Hellcat. Good memory. And so far I feel fine. So
Go hype train.
Hopefully I'm not going to get sick. I'm busy. I don't have time to be sick.
Twitch stream Dave subscribed. Hooray. You're drinking in a bush? Yeah.
You're getting your second one on Wednesday, Council of Rooks. Yeah, I was a little worried, but so far I feel fine. Oh, you got yours too, Mepex, today? Hey. Yeah.
It's nap time. Well, I took a nap.
Yay. Party. Party on. You're a Moderna sneech. I had Pfizer. Oh, you were dead all weekend? Everybody I know got sick after the second one, so Yeah, Pfizer is turning out to be the elite one.
Thanks, Ozers.
I agree.
Thanks, Farty Party.
You had yours never. Your wife had no problems trying to learn? Pfizer all the way, Caffeine Jones. Thank goodness not Johnson & Johnson. What do we role play as? I'm not a big role player. I like to play me. Oh, she was knocked out for 36 hours. Well, I'll just say it's like rolling the dice.
The chat hurts. All right.
All right, it's chess time.
Yeah. Let's see. Canada can't stay home. All right, that's good chat. Let's get the hype train to level 6. Yeah.
Oh, you have side effects, NASA?
I'm guessing tomorrow gonna be some quick draws in the candidates. But there won't be there'll be some quick draws in the other tournament also, the Carlson one, because it's matches and they like to draw. Yer Treo gifted us up. Thank you. Mepex, 176 centidues. Thanks for the kudos. 20 centidues from Robert. Farty Party, 1 centidue. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. Radjabov plays Magnus tomorrow. So plays Aronian. Lequang Lim plays Naka. And then the other 2 people play each other. Mamajarov is one of them. I forgot who the 8th person is. Pretty good 7 out of 8. In the Magnus tournament. All right, let's start. We had decisive games today. Let's see, were they all decisive? This one was, that was not, that was, and that was. Oh, we had 3 decisive games today. So according to the internets, on the show I watched, the last time there were back-to-back rounds in the candidates with all decisive games, which almost happened. We had 4 decisive games, and now we have 3, but that didn't happen. The last time it happened was 1959 in rounds 1 and 2. That's what they said, but it's probably lies. But they're entertaining lies. And in the end, isn't that the real truth? The answer is no. 200 centidues, gimme a mean. Yeah. Etc. Yeah.
That's funny.
All right, so this is the game Alekseenko ding Liren. We'll go by how important the games are. Alekseenko's on a losing streak, so let's see if he can continue. Ding always plays, e5 and knight c6 and so forth. Big money, no way me stop. $9. Thanks, Robert. 9. Okay. And super GMs don't play knight g5, but knight g5 is fine. But they like to play d3. All right. So White played a very strange move in the opening. And if I had a student who played that, I would say it was shallow and pedantic. This is all normal. Yeah, b3. Recommended by Ginger GM. He said you got to be free. I don't know. I don't. What? Yeah, that move must make dollars. You know why?
Because it makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Alex Fleck Chess is gifting a sub. Yeah. So yeah, b3 is a strange move. Always retreat. Rest of the moves aren't strange, they're just normal. All right. So White's playing very slowly, and somebody has to play d4, d5, otherwise nothing happens. And Ding's like, all right. Now, with the pawn on b3, there's always tricks with the knight taking the pawn and bishop d4 in an instance where white tries to take this pawn. And sometimes black just gives the pawn away for compensation anyway, which is what happened. Obviously, the risk of playing d5, and the reason white played rook e1, other than to play knight f1, is to put pressure on this pawn. So he's trying to dissuade d5, but it didn't do it. Well, okay, this pawn's attacked now. So, played queen c2. And, yeah, queen f6, knight g3. So it's pretty much equal. I guess I'd rather have black because I don't understand why white moved all his pawns like that. Put it in h. Yeah, so this is just, standard, boring maneuvering chess. So Ding Liren is happy. And finally, white takes the pawn. He doesn't have to. And black has great compensation for the pawn because this diagonal's not good, which Ding took advantage of. This pawn's weak, this pawn's weak, this pawn's weak. The rook is on the wrong square, and so forth. There's two good moves here for black. There's knight f4, which puts tremendous pressure on the d pawn. And then there's what he did, c6. c6 protects the knight, and more importantly, bishop c7 is annoying. White's pieces are lined up for a bishop. And then, I don't know, this is sitting here, watching the wheels go round and round. I guess it really loves to watch them roll. I mean, he just had to let it go. Yeah. Now, the engine wants to do that, not a very GM-friendly move, giving up the bishop for the knight. And not only that, it says he has to do that. Doesn't like his position otherwise. Now, occasionally, in these positions, black can play knight takes c3, and if queen takes c3, bishop d4, which attacks everything on the diagonal. So, okay, Alekseenko said, all right, you can't do that anymore. Can't touch this. Took with the rook. And the GMs who were doing commentary live, who were not me, they thought white's trying to survive. Even though white's a pawn up, black has the two bishops, the better rook. Black can play h5, h4. Black can play bishop c7. The d pawn is weak and pinned. The f pawn is weak. The bishop on e3 can't move anywhere good. The engine says it's equal, but humans would want to have black here. This is very similar to the Marshall Gambit, but this is a good Marshall Gambit. So if you see the Marshall and the Ruy Lopez, this is a lot of compensation for black. You can't move the knight. Bishops are good, so forth. Let's see, what happened? Gray Marmalade gave 5 subs. Spotted Frog gave 3 cents. And 771 viewers. All right. White played c4, which is...
explosive.
Mm-hmm. And he retreated like a Frenchman, recommended by MVL, bishop e6. Rook e1, getting his rook. And then he unpinned his bishop, so his bishop can move, and he puts pressure on the d pawn. Again, the engine says it's equal, but grandmasters want to have black here, because black has all the play. Knight e4, check, always retreat. Put it in h. Now, if I was playing a 1-minute game, I'd be pre-moving this all day, because, that's a scary move. Okay, so he played rook e3. He could also play knight g3, which is a weird move because he could mess up your pawn structure, but probably he would move his queen. Queen e5, threatening checkmate. He stopped checkmate, put him in check. King h2, queen f6. He checked him first, so now he's back in the pin. Attacks the queen. And now black wants to play h5, h4. And this pawn can't move because of the pin. And it's a backward pawn. So obvious compensation. King h1. He should move his king out of the pin. More threats. Always repeats. And Alekseenko plays for the win, bishop c3. Or as I like to say, plays for the loss. Thirsty Monster is rating with a party of 60. Hooray, Thirsty Monster. Someone give him a shout. Oh, they already did. Man. That's good. Hooray. Why do grandmasters think they know more than stockfish? I don't understand the question. Why do you say that? Yeah, a lot of things on the internet which are wrong, which is most things, have a supposition that's nonsensical, and then they say, why is that? Because it's not? Yeah. Why did America elect a 95-year-old president? He's not 95. That's why. But that's the way questions are worded on the internet, and then you're like, why did that happen? Because it didn't. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, now why does Stockfish think it knows more than Grandmasters? That's a better question. Should get in its place.
What is your house?
Thinking about a sack. That's pretty good. Johnson and Johnson. Pfizer. Fries is winning. Yeah. That's pretty good. So not only is India killing it in cases, right, and deaths, and by killing it, I mean their own people. They're lying about how many people have COVID. The head of WHO, said, there's a lot more in India than they're saying. And my question, I'm serious, when the head of WHO said that, was it Pete Townsend or Roger Daltrey? I don't know. Who would you say is the head of WHO? Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So they should have been more clear about it.
I think Daltrey thinks he was.
Daltrey thinks he is. All right. Fries wins.
Better knows.
25 schmeckles. Yeah. Pete is too busy with his research. Yeah. Frampton? What? Yeah. I mean, you already don't want to go to India, but now if you go to India, it's over. So, I mean, every day they have more cases and more deaths. They don't have room in the hospitals. So people are like in their cars laying down and getting medicine, so the U.S. and other countries are going to send 1 billion vaccines. That's only like half the people. So, yeah, we're going to send a lot of vaccines to India, and hopefully people can get vaccines. All right. B5. Now, this is a move that is a super GM move. I'm not even saying it's a good move. That's not even the point. Point is, most chess players, when they're doing something, continue to do it. It doesn't matter if it works. That's what they're doing. So, the bishop's doing this, and the bishop's doing this, and the queen's doing this, and the pawn could be doing this. So they don't even know there's another side of the board. They're like, that doesn't matter. Okay, but Ding Liren wants to annoy his opponent. So he plays here, and now Alekseenko's like, wait a minute, where are you attacking me? What's going on? And if they trade pawns, I said if, then, there's isolated pawn on d3. Otherwise, this could be attacked because of the pin, and b4 could be annoying. So Alekseenko's like, I stopped all this. What's all this? All right. So he played queen e2, escaping the pin. Okay, good. Takes. Now, you can also take it with the d pawn, but that allows the penetration. Queen b1 check, rook d1, Papa John's. And just for your edification, you want some edification?
Sure.
Okay. If white plays random legal move, okay, that's pretty random, right? No. Checkmate. And then black's better. So he didn't want to let Ding infiltrate here. So he took with the B pawn. A4. And then black wanted to trade queens because he thought this rook was bad, this pawn is weak, this pawn is weak, and he can infiltrate here on the B file. The engine does not trade queens. It agrees with what Alekseenko did. Always repeats. Let's see. So it looks to me like queen e3 is a draw by reputation. Yeah. And Alekseenko plays for the win, unfortunately. A3. This pawn might queen. Then black will win. He says, I dare you to take it. I double dare you. And then Alekseenko said, do they speak English and what? What ain't no country I ever heard of? So he didn't take. He was afraid of the rook coming in because then it would be on fire. Oh, wait, that's the roof. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and then, it's pretty good attack here. And the extra passed pawn here, that's not going to queen. That can't move. The engine says it's equal, but I mean, if you're a human, you want to have white here because, black. I confused white and black. Yeah, I should talk to Mike Tyson. Man, that's a complicated joke. I think I'm the only person in the world who can get that joke. Yeah, Tyson might get it. Maybe. Might not. Been hit a lot in the head. Does anybody get that? Yeah, the Michael Jackson is the usual joke that I make. But it's more clever to make the joke about Mike Tyson. Robert E. 630, gift to the sub. Hooray. Let's see. Yeah, nobody's going to get that joke. So, there was a movie made. That's part of it, Robert. There was a movie made like 25 years ago, I'm guessing. And Mike Tyson was in it. He was one of the people in the movie. He played himself. And it was called like Black and White or White and Black. That was the name of the movie. I mean, that wasn't the name of the movie, but I can't think of the name. But it was like that. And one of my favorite scenes is there's a guy in the movie. It's a movie. It's not a documentary. But Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson. Everybody else is like an actor. And they say, hey, Mike Tyson. Okay. Like in the, what's it called? The, the series of funny movies. The one that's in Vegas and Asia and Mexico. What are those movies called? Hangover. Just like in The Hangover. Like, that's Mike Tyson, but everybody else is just an actor. So in the black and white movie, some guy's really annoying Mike Tyson, because that's his lines. And Mike Tyson says, man, I can't talk to you. I'm on parole. So Mike Tyson wants to beat the hell out of the guy, but he's on parole. So, don't talk to me anymore. That was a funny line. Anyway, what was the name? It's called Black and White? Oh. So my joke was apt. Yeah. That was an interesting movie. I think I saw it at the Toronto Film Festival. That's why I remember. All right. So this didn't happen. He played Queen E1 defending his bishop. Also good. Rook D8. And he's really playing for the win, Alekseenko, but it's very risky because of the two bishops and the bad king and the etc. Finally, he puts it in H. And this is, again, the engine always says whatever it says. Equal, probably. Slightly better for white, because white's up 2 pawns. But that's assuming white defends better than perfect. And if white makes a slip, black's going to get in there, right? So I showed this position to Janet Jackson, and she says, "Oh, I'm not playing this position." Yeah, you know why, right?
Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
No.
She was afraid to make a nip slip. That's right. Remember that?
Her nip slip? Yeah.
In the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So it's funny, on one of the cartoons I watch, but I don't know which one, the guy, he wanted to watch the Super Bowl, but whoever the guy is, Family Guy or Homer, but he didn't watch it because his wife wanted to do something. And then they said there was a trouser malfunction with the guy who plays Niles Crane. And he's like, no, I didn't get to see that. So.
Hey, was it on purpose or not?
What?
The nip slip.
They still argue about it.
The great nip slip.
In my opinion, no. But some people's opinion is yes.
Yeah, I think it was an accident.
3 sentences.
I did play chess before I met Ben. I was already a tournament player by then.
All right, 1,000 viewers. Hi, viewers. Okay, bishop f5. Knight d4 is a good move. He played it. Bishop e4. That's what Karen was going to play.
Are those
200
nuts?
sentences.
Those are not nuts. Blueberries.
Are these nuts? What am I, Magnus? No. Yeah, they're blueberries. Now, bishop e4, that shows you who's playing for a win. Now, the engine says white's doing great, but the engine defends better than a human. So you have to take it. Take. Now, this knight's incredibly hanging, and you got to watch out for mate. If the knight moves, rook d1's annoying. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so the engine says the only way to get an advantage is rook d3. That's what he played. Bishop e5. And now the only way to get an advantage is bishop b2. And he played bishop c5, which loses immediately. And bishop c5 looks fine. You're defending your knight. Okay, but bishop b2 is good. And obviously, he overlooked black's next move. Now, it's weird to overlook black's next move because there is no other move. Like, this is defended, and you can't attack it anymore. And probably what Alekseenko was thinking, other than Arby's, is if you go here, this could happen. It could. Mm-hmm. Maybe not now, but maybe now. So I'll go here, then I'll stop that. And then, now, this is actually insulting in a very complicated way. And I discuss this a lot. The psychology of chess is, if this is winning for white, right, which Alekseenko probably thought, then what Ding did was insane. Knight e4 giving a piece away. You got to give Ding more credit because Ding has been top 5 in the world for years. So you can't just think Ding gave a piece away. Maybe he saw something. The only way for black to do anything in this position is rook b8 to b1, which is going to be checkmate. And it turns out that wins. The game's over. If the bishop's on b2, there is no rook b1. That blocks. So after rook b8, they asked Jackie Gleason to comment on the game. What did he say? Hamana, 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 hamana. Yeah. Okay, now the obvious move, because black's threatening that, the game's over, is rook d1. That's the obvious move. Rook b1 threatens the rook. If you take the rook, queen takes his mate. If you defend the rook like a normal way, well, there's no normal way. Let's say here, for example, right? Now everything wins, but this is the cutest. That's an X-ray. There's only one thing cuter than queen e1 check. What is it?
I don't know.
You. So the only move to stop queen e1 and rook d1 is queen. Well, that's what that's no good. Is queen d2. And now we attack the queen, and the queen has nowhere to go. Do you feel bad for the queen?
No.
There's nowhere to go.
No, because it's happened to me a lot.
There's nowhere to go.
So I don't feel bad.
Yeah, if you go here, then we take, and here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Ding saw that when he sacked a piece, and Alekseenko saw it after rook b8. He's like, oh, okay. Now remember, trying is the first step to failure, and he tried. He played bishop b4, stopping the rook from coming in. And then he takes it. Bam, because the queen's overworked. You see what I'm saying? All right. All right, now, white's up a pawn, but the knight's attacked a few times. And these moves are checkmate and lead to checkmate. So white only has one move, knight f3, and then after check, knight g1. And after that, that's difficult to defend. Know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. And there's no perpetual check. So you're just losing. He tried and he failed miserably. The lesson is never try. And that's the end of the checks. The pawn can block, the king can move up. Here he resigned. If you don't want to resign, you can trade queens. And as Gregory Kaidanov would say, white is down a king. That's not good. So, you go here. And black's up a pawn anyway. So, a very nice piece sacrifice from Ding, and a very bad defense from Alekseenko playing bishop c5. I don't really blame him, but I blame him a little. Because if black doesn't do that, then he's got nothing. So he should have analyzed this and made sure that he was okay, because his king was always under fire. Now, what a lot of people were saying over the last few rounds is they were like, well, this guy can't beat that guy, and that guy's having a bad tournament. Incorrect. Anybody can beat anybody. And these guys are all 2750 to 2850. So you can't be like, whoa, 2760, he has no chance. No. So Ding Liren, whether he's having a good tournament or bad tournament, he can win with either color against anybody if he plays his A game. Mm-hmm. Then he's going to beat Magnus, which he's done.
Hey, bishop takes.
Yeah. So
people are asking. I'm not bored. I was just waiting on him to stop talking so I could tell him that people are asking, can you explain an X-ray and also the difference between an X-ray and a skewer? Because they don't understand it.
Okay.
Multiple people.
Yeah. A skewer is when you see a pin and you switch the pieces that are pinned. This is a pin. If you switch them, the queen's here and the knight's here, that's a skewer. A skewer means the piece in front is worth as much or more than the piece in the back. And a skewer, the piece that's doing the skewering, is attacking a big piece, and behind the big piece is a smaller piece. Since this is a smaller piece than this is a pin. An X-ray is when you're defending through another piece. And I can show you more than one example of that. But, here we have a good example. Here, wait, I'm going to have to go back. I went back too much. Yeah. So an X-ray is when this piece is defending this piece through this piece. It's pretty rare, actually. There's actually more than one kind of X-ray, but that's the simple one. And see, is that an X-ray? No. I thought in the England Gambit there was an X-ray, but that's not an X-ray. That's just a pin. Yeah. So, for example, in this position, which I'm sure you've had in your own games, that's a pin. The queen's pinned to the king, and white wins. Okay. If we switch the king and queen, which I can easily do, always play bishop f1. That is a skewer. That's more important than that. When the pieces are of equivalent value, like two rooks, I talk to my homies in Bruges, and they like to call that a skewer. Okay. And then if the king was here, which is illegal, But, in a kids tournament, that's a fork. Because the bishop can legally attack both pieces. Here it's only attacking one. And then when it moves, it's going to take that one. So that's a skewer. X-rays are hard for humans to understand, so they're usually surprising. When your piece is defending a piece through another piece, and people are like, what? What does that mean? So, yeah. Imagine the B file has nothing on it, and you have a queen here, and he has a queen here, like rook B8 would defend your queen through his queen. So that's an X-ray. X-rays that are attacking are more fun. That was a defensive X-ray. Also, the queen's defending the rook. It's a double X-ray. You know those X-rays that are like double X-rays?
No.
Simpsons. Yeah. And so forth. I have no idea what an X-ray is. It can't be simpler. It's when two pieces defend each other through another piece. That's why it's an X-ray. I already said what it was. I'll give you another example, but I can't. Nothing is easier. Okay. And by the way, it's impossible, just so you know. Okay. Okay. This position, queen f5 is the stupidest move ever. But if it was white's turn to move, which it's not, but if it was, you could take this or you could take this. And even though they're not defending each other now, they are, because it's an X-ray. This defends the bishop through this. And this defends the queen through this. That's a defensive X-ray. These pieces defend each other through the opponent's piece. So if white takes either piece, it's defended. But through the piece that's already there, which would take one of them. And then an attacking X-ray is when your piece is defending a piece through another piece. So for example, if you played queen g1 check, and there was a king on h1, and the only legal move was rook takes queen, sounds good, but there's doubled rooks here, the rooks are defending the queen through the rook. Rook takes mate. They can't legally defend each other because there's a piece in the middle, but when the piece takes either piece, then they're defending each other. It's actually has almost no importance, the names of things. Almost none.
I don't agree.
Almost none.
No, I can remember it better if I have a name for it.
Yeah, but you could call it Mr. Snuffleupagus.
I know, but I'm just saying you got to know.
Then you would say, who's Mr. Snuffleupagus? And I'm like, didn't you watch Sesame Street? And then she's like, no. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see what happens when Kiri has a little beer in her? She's like, no, you're wrong. Yeah, harsh. Oh. Yeah. That's right. That sounds like a battery.
Names do matter.
No, it's not a battery. It has nothing to do with a battery. Mm-hmm. You're banned. A battery, the opponent's pieces aren't involved. In an X-ray, there's always your piece and an opponent's piece that are involved. They got to be in the situation. In a battery, your opponent's piece is never involved. So if your bishop was here and your queen was here, your queen and bishop are a battery. The white pieces don't matter. In the other one, there's a white piece between the two black pieces, right? Or as we call it,
Oreo.
An Oreo. Yeah, come on.
That was very.
Now that it's an Oreo, Karen can remember it.
See?
So that, yeah.
See?
There we go.
Names are important.
Now, let me explain. Hey, there's C.L. Smith.
Hey, C.L.
Yesterday,
Smith.
somebody was like, where'd C.L. Smith go? There he is. Somebody on my stream yesterday was worried about your health. They're like, where's C.L. Smith? All right. So let me explain a Z-ray. First, I'll give Karen a chance.
I thought he made that up.
No. A Z-ray is better than an X-ray. You know why? It's two better. Z is two better than X.
I don't know.
For $1 trillion, what TV show are we referencing?
Z-ray?
Yeah.
Rick and Morty?
Wait, Z-ray vision? What's that? He's good. He's two better than X. Okay. Futurama.
Oh.
Yeah. He sees some surgeons on the street, and then they they have Z-ray vision. And he's like, what's that? All right. Tisker Tasker gifted a sub.
Hey, C.L. Smith, when are you going to come visit? Now that we're open, now come on. We want some over-the-board chess from you and karaoke.
Remember Gabe
get over
Kerr,
here.
he used to play you in Atlanta. You're just making that up. A windmill? What?
It is a nice shirt.
Yes, en passant's an X-ray skewer, especially when you spell en passant that way.
Well, we're going to start with the weekend tournament soon. C.L. Smith. Saturday tournament, mid-May. 2-day tournament, third weekend of May.
The Novotny theme is excellent, and it's almost always just used in problems. Yeah, I like the Novotny theme. That I like. But I won't discuss it here because it only happens in chess problems.
Yeah, Pam too. Pam said she was going to come visit.
I want to show you the Novotny theme because I like it so much.
All right, let's see it.
All right. Now, I can't make up a problem like that because it's... But I'll tell you what it is.
All right.
Okay. So let's say... Let me get rid of the D pawn. Okay. I don't know why the knight's on C3. That was stupid. All right. And I'm going to play G3. Okay. All right. Now let's say in this position, but not in this position. I'm showing you the theme. Mm-hmm. White has to be able to go here. He has to. Because that's the position. Not this position, just some other position. And white has to go here. And you're like, well, he can go both places. What's the problem? Mm-hmm. Right? Then this is the Novotny theme. Because if the bishop takes, the queen can't go here. And if the queen takes, the bishop can't go here. So it's when you put a piece on a square that's attacked by two pieces, but the two pieces need to go past that square, so whichever piece you take with blocks the other piece. That's great. In fact, this would be much better if this was a rook, because then after knight g5 rook takes, the bishop can't move at all. After bishop takes, the rook can't move at all. So those are only in problems. We almost never see that in a real game. But I really like that theme because you don't expect a move that hangs a piece to two different pieces. And what you're doing is you're just blocking both of them, and whichever one white takes with, the other one is as impotent as a Nevada boxing commissioner, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of problems like that. In the problem world, that's considered really cool. I can't even set up a problem like on the top of my head. I have to figure out a position where it's very important that both, it's hard to do. But yeah, it's great. That one's too hard for the gawking rabble. So thanks, Tisker Tasker, for the 5 subs. Let's see.
Maybe
Do you think Alekseenko could win the next candidates? No. Ask Kasparov. You're going to be out west in mid-May. No, boo. Can you get the Pfizer vaccine at the Chess Center? Maybe. Is that Blue Moon? No.
I hope I don't get sick. I'm not sick yet.
Which fruit should you have with Blue Moon? A slice of what?
I don't know.
Novotny? I know Votny. An orange slice. Yeah, there's a lot of alcoholics on this stream. Yeah.
Can you live in North Druid Hills? Yes, come and bring all your money.
Man, Dominic, see, this is fun. Let me tell you something.
North Druid Hills.
When somebody dumb says something, and I'm like, you're dumb and you should feel dumb, they put their head down and cry. Mm-hmm. Then there's people who actually do stuff in their life. When I tell them something, they're like, no. Because that's the way the attitude is of people who do stuff. So when I say this and this, Karen's like, no. She doesn't care that she's 1,200, I'm a grandmaster. She's like, no. Right? Because she's not a sheep like you. And so yesterday, I was explaining to David Packman that Veggie Galaxy was great in Boston. And he said that place is terrible.
Oh, really?
Right?
I liked it.
No, it's good. He's David Packman.
So he has eaten there.
Well, he said it was terrible, so I guess. Then I was saying Blue Moon. I didn't say I liked Blue Moon. I just said Blue Moon, and Dominic's like terrible. That's terrible, right? So here's the Dominic problem. Dominic thinks he's German, okay, but ask him where he lives, and it seems like that's not true. And Germans think their beer is the best. So if it's not a German beer, terrible, right? Now also, I'm not making fun of Germans. If I want to make fun of Germans, I have other ways to do it. But every country in Europe is the same. Belgium thinks they have the best beer.
And they do.
The Netherlands thinks they have the best beer. Yeah. Germany thinks they have the best beer. The Czech Republic thinks they have the best beer. Mm-hmm. That's the way it is. And it's the same in soccer. Mm-hmm. They all think their soccer teams are the best.
Yeah, Belgium is correct. That is correct.
Damn, Belgium's correct.
That is correct.
Yeah, but he's German, so he's like, no. Yeah. Now, I know a beer aficionado, and he said the best beer is in America. And I said, why? And he said, because there's so many microbrews, so you get a really big choice. And you've never heard of these beers. You've heard of the famous beers, which are shallow and pedantic. You're like, oh, U.S., that's Budweiser. And I'm like, that's one beer. There's thousands of beers. So you try to name one that's considered bad and then make fun of the country. But yeah, if you go, there's a lot of places where you go and they give you a beer sample from the beer they made there, and it's pretty good. When you have a chance, can I get a Perrier?
Yeah.
They always yell at me when I ask you to get me a Perrier.
Well, what do they say?
Oh, they're furious. Like, having you get you a Perrier, you're the worst.
Oh, because it's like...
You're close.
Sexist. I'm closer.
You're closer.
It's easier.
I can't move,
He's like a bull in a china shower.
Right.
Knocking into everything. It's just
that was the great episode of Family Guy that happened.
What?
So there's a bull in a china shop looking around, and he's like, and there's the guy's in the back, the employee, and then a golf ball comes from like Peter, I guess, and it hits everything and destroys everything, and then the guy comes out and he sees the bull there, so he figures the bull did it, and the bull's innocent. Yeah.
All right, I'll get it.
Blue Moon is better if you have an orange. Oh.
All right, I shall return.
Blue Moon. You saw me drinking Perrier without any lime. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Clearly she doesn't drink. Incorrect. She's drinking right now. What? Dang, are you calling them dumb? I call everybody dumb. Now you're dumb. Which song was I paraphrasing? It's what me and Giannis, we have a special bond about this line in the song.
Yeah.
We really like this line. All right. So there's a song by George Thorogood. And in the song, the George Thorogood character got kicked out by his landlady because he can't pay the rent. So he asked his friend, can I stay with you? And his friend's like, I don't know, man. My wife's sort of funny. And then he says, let me ask my wife. Then he asks her, he says, yeah, my wife's kind of funny. And then he said, no. Now you funny too. We all find out you funny too. It's true. Everybody's funny. Let's see. Afron Pie. He's just looking at some nonsense there. Ridiculous. Blah, blah, blah. Karen drink beer, oh my, with several Ys.
I'm not a big alcohol drinker.
Deepak is based.
So I can't even... recommend one.
Yeah, the more successful you are in life, the more opinionated you are about everything and think you're right about everything, which is only true if you're a grandmaster.
Do I like Three Taverns beer? I haven't had it. When you come visit the club, bring it on up here. I'll test it out for you.
I'm German and we have the best beer. Yeah, shocking that he said that. German beers are okay, I guess.
Hey, Born in Oz.
Man, people like Belgian beer on this stream. Chocolate, too. What's better, Belgian chocolate or Swiss chocolate? Discuss.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Chocolate is good. Any kind of chocolate.
Chocolate is good. That's right. What is an X-ray? I don't know. Denmark has Carlsberg, the best beer in the world, except for one thing. Alabama has the best beer. The French don't promote their beer. Do they underpromote?
I went and visited the Hershey Chocolate Factory one time.
Vermont has the best beer. I don't know about that.
Alabama has the best song.
Best beer is free beer. Right. Now, when I was in Slovenia, I had some Czech beer. That was good beer. It had a funny name, like Urikel, but I made that up. But like that.
Did you miss the chess recap? No, we're in the middle.
Right.
We're in the middle of it.
Now, for $1 trillion, ready? What's the best beer?
You're asking me what?
Yeah, but
I
you
like
have
the
to
best?
think about TV shows I watch.
Oh, the best beer. I probably don't know. I don't know.
Sam Jackson beer. It'll get you drunk. You might even fight a person or two. You'll be effing, what do you say, ugly women in no time? Is that what he said? Yeah. Chappelle Show.
Yeah. I don't
Samuel
remember.
Jackson beer. Would you
Vaguely.
stop yelling in my ear? No, that's the way I talk. Haven't you seen my movies? Deep Blue Sea, that was a good one. I was eaten by a shark. That's right. I hope they die, and I hope they burn in hell. Sam Jackson beer. That's good mother beer. Best beer, and the U.S. was terrible. Then the U.S. put the Canadian beer to shame. Damn.
No, Felix Friss. I don't think Ben has been asked to coach any poker players for the chess tournament.
What? No. Just in poker. You're the worst. Yeah, I am the worst. Everclear and Perrier. What? Isn't Budweiser from Czech? 88 Dominic gifted a sub to Strike It Up. Man, Strike It Up sounds like a poker player. That's for sure.
I'm from Alabama. Hopewell's Shaman.
Pabst Blue Ribbon has ribbons. We have 5 microbreweries in my town. Yeah. I can deliver. Creature Comforts from Athens. Sounds good. Georgia.
I know. I waited a long time for Chappelle to come back, and then he never came back.
I lack the sophistication to be able to distinguish between good beer from each other. Yeah, I agree with that. Blue Moon tastes better in the summer. There's this beer that I liked when I was in St. Louis. It's definitely the longest named beer. Has like a German sounding name. I think it starts with SCH maybe. And it's a really long word. And I only saw it in a can, never saw it in a bottle. And the can's huge. It's not a normal can, it's like big. Whatever that beer is, I thought that was good.
This beer stream does have some chess. We're just taking a
One
break
bourbon, one scotch,
from
one
this
beer.
chess.
That's correct.
Hey, let's do another game.
No.
Let's do another game.
I didn't read the chat yet.
Because I have to go soon.
You left yesterday. What's the beer that I was talking about that has the long name? Victor Andrew subscribed. Good.
Alcohol is poison.
Let's see. Somebody's going to know the beer I was talking about. Make sure the name is really long. Then you'll be right. Yeah, Duvel was pretty popular. Yeah, Urkel. I was right. Yeah, I like that beer. Lick My Hadron subscribe. Good. Yeah, what maple syrup is better, Vermont or Canada? Fight. Duff beer's pretty good. Yeah.
Schlitz.
That's correct. He doesn't say. Yeah. The Gawking Rebel wants you to coach me for the poker chess tournament. Sure. You're the best.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
don't even know
definitely should.
what that is. I don't either, but yeah. We should still do it.
I didn't know there was a poker chess tournament.
I hope somebody explains the beer with the really long name I was talking about.
When will Karen start banning?
I ban you.
I don't usually ban.
You ban me.
I prefer not to ban, if possible.
Alabama's underrated. What? I'm still looking for the long beer. The long named beer. Man, that's close. Weirdest beer. Billy beer. That was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
There it
Billy
is. This guy's right. That guy's right.
beer. Yeah.
Schnickelfritz. I just like the beer because of its name. Yeah, Schnickelfritz. Awesome. Yeah, that's the best named beer. That's for sure. All right, I can't read the chat because there's too much. Steve Clams, what are you from? Upstate New York? All right, next game. Next. All right, we'll do Wang Hao versus Fabiano. This was the most boring game of all time, and then Fabiano was winning. I don't know. So somehow they got the most symmetrical position ever. Boring. Boo. Boo. Obviously, it was Wang Hao's fault. Yeah, and this is just a draw. Yeah, and they drew later. Now we'll look at the next game. No, they didn't draw later, actually. If anything, I'd rather have white here, because this bishop is shallow and pedantic. All right, so nothing happened. He played f6, so you know he lost. Now, f6, unfortunately, is a good move here. You stop here, and almost as important is the bishop can drop back to f7. Then the bishop could be good one day. Could be, probably not. Then your rook can challenge the e-file. So the fact that you have a white squared bishop and no dark squared bishop, and the fact that he's 2800, I give him special dispensation to play f6. Although the worst move Fabi ever played in his life was f6. Black against Varuja Jacobian, U.S. Championship about 3 years ago. Man, when you lose to a Jacobian, you know you made the worst move of your career. God damn. Fabi was like +5, and he lost because he played f6.
Oh, no.
Then he was losing. Bad move, Ben. What about Leroy Brown? Yeah. Yeah, me and Fabi are like, that, son. Well, not really. Okay. So then it's still boring. It's always equal. Nothing's happening. Nothing's more boring than this game. All right. Again, I would take white if anything, but it's a draw. All right. And Fabi plays for the win with h5, putting it in h. He's not winning. He's not even better. But he's trying. He's trying real hard to be the shepherd. Right? Now, I'm not going to kill you because I'm in a transitional period. So, here, take the money out of this wallet. How much is it? About $2,300. Good. With this and the other wallets, that's a good score for you. And then John Travolta says, if you give him that money, I'm going to shoot him on principle. And then he says, shut the up. He's not going to do nothing. Yolanda, you still with me? I want to go home. I want to go pee. You're doing great, Yolanda. All right.
Does Ben have a life outside of TV?
Pulp Fiction. Hooray. Yeah.
He does like some TV.
Point the gun at me. Good. Point the gun at me, Yolanda. All right, so this is really boring. Nothing's happening. Pawn structure is symmetrical. They traded half the pieces. The engine always says it's equal. But, you can still win. Opponent plays bad. Okay, so rook c1 is much disliked by the engine. The engine wants the queen here, putting tremendous pressure on the d5 pawn. And Fabi prevented queen b5, which also puts tremendous pressure on the d pawn. So the engine wants to play queen e2 to f3, and it says white's a little bit better. Or white could put it in h and try to fix these pawns on the white squares. But instead, Wang Hao played random legal move, and then Fabi's like, I'm coming to get you. Still equal, but you can see Wang Hao's not doing anything. Yeah. Okay, now this has helped Black because the bishop has more squares now. Black has a passed pawn. This passed pawn got no hope. This is a protected passed pawn because black's going to go here at some point. And this is something that I actually can't explain to the chat, but I could tell you. If I had like a 5 hours, I could explain to you what I mean. But every grandmaster knows what I'm going to say now. And by every grandmaster, I mean like a third of them. Yeah. This is a secret you're not allowed to know. One of the reasons black is better here is black's rook is on an open file. And even if this rook was on an open file, which it's not, so that's the end of the discussion, black is still better because the open file is closer to the kings. And that would take me hours to explain, so just believe me. But here it's the only open file, so it's obviously better for black. So this idea worked, and the problem with Wang Hao was he thought it was just going to be a draw, so he was doing that. And then Fabi's like, but I want to win. And then, Wang Hao said, no talking. But he said it in Chinese, so Fabi kept talking. It was weird. Okay, queen d2. Then he blockades. b5, preventing b5. Now the pawn's not as protected. Always retreat. Yeah, now we got 2 files to go to work on the homes here with pliers and a blowtorch. Right, sweetie? You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? I ain't through with you by damn sight. And highlight the message. Open files. Better than a corrupt file.
How come you tell that secret to public?
Terrible.
Did you tell a secret?
Yeah.
What?
I said when the rook's trying to open files, it's more important to be near the king.
Oh.
Hey, I have a lot of subs. Let's get to 3,300 subs. We've never done that. Somebody donate 53 subs. I'll wait. Okay. Why didn't he take on a3? Okay, if he takes on a3 here, he loses his bishop. So that would be bad. And then here, he can't take on a3 because b7 pawn's attacked. Now he could take on a3. Okay, as Stewie would say, don't shoot. Okay, now shoot. Great episode. For $1 trillion, in the episode I'm referencing, where Stewie says, don't shoot. Okay, now shoot. What's his favorite food? Yer Trejo gifted 3 subs.
Whose favorite food? Stewie's?
Yeah, in that episode.
Oh, I don't know.
Let's see if people in the chat know. Wheat Thins. Should I ban him? Probably.
That's not Wheat Thins.
No. Wow, you guys don't know? You guys are terrible. There we go. Tuesday's Green Nose. Pancakes. Click, 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 bloody pancakes. Must be street for crack. That was a long, complicated episode. They took Stewie away from the Family Guy, gave him to some religious people.
Oh.
Because the woman thought that Meg was Stewie's mom. And Meg was like, he's on crack. She wanted to get extra tips as a waitress. And they took Stewie away. And then, okay, I want pancakes. Click, 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 buddy pancakes. Okay, A4, question mark. Wang Hao was thinking like you, which was Wang. He was thinking, no. But he had to think, yes. Okay, like Pickle Rick. Yes. Complicated joke. So he has to play D5, then he's fine. Because if you take this, Yasser Sarouan would recommend to push him, baby. Okay, so he played this, no good. And now black's better. Now black's going to attack on the king's side, passed pawn here, open file here, Papa John's. Now he played D5, too late. Now, when the pawn was on G6, last move, bishop G6 was illegal. Now the bishop has a nice juicy square here, plus tax. Now he tries to trade rooks. Queen F4, double exclam, former muscle. If you take the rook, you lose your queen. And if you take the queen, black plays the winning Zwischenzug, rook takes E1, and then takes back. So he has to move his queen. Bishop C2, he did it again. Fabi's so mean. Queen has to move again. rook e5, a collinear move. And you can see he's dominating. And this reminds you of the game, and by you I mean me, but I'm going to tell you. This reminds you of the game Anish Giri versus Wang Hao. A very smooth win about 4 rounds ago by Anish, because in that game, Wang Hao had a queen on a8. And I was like, say, what? So I guess that's what Wang Hao likes to do. Nobody puts Wang Hao in the corner, but he puts himself in the corner. Yeah, terrible. So it's funny, on Family Guy, I think it's Family Guy. Could be some other cartoon. They're referencing that movie, and they're like, wouldn't that guy go to jail? He's like 45, and she's like 15. So, and...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's going on in this movie? Okay.
That's true.
Okay, rook e5, queen e5, terrible. Great pawn, blocked pawn, more space, the knight's pinned, king can't move anywhere, your battery's low, terrible. Lick My Hadron gifted 5 subs. Now I want to apologize because I'm pretty sure all the things I say and all the analysis was already said in a similar way by Bartholomew and Rosen. Right, sweetie?
Maybe.
No. Yep. Delicious. Okay, the game concluded a5, king up, and white just can't move. White's got nothing. Yeah, now this knight's pinned, so he can't take it, and the d pawn and the pin and some action here. So, for example, Karen, king h1 was a mistake because if the king was on g1, we could play queen e1. Can't play queen e1 now. Do you know why? Remember, because the king's on h1 instead of g1. That's the difference.
Let's see.
So queen e1 is like ace king, and Dominic will tell you ace king no good. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ace king's a drawing hand. Sounds good. You don't know?
Well, rephrase the question. Say it again.
Why is that bad? And why should it feel bad?
Oh, because bishop g2 check.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the kind of thing I say when I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. This is very similar to the Wang Hao game he lost with Nepomniachtchi. It was equal the whole game, and then as Wang Hao put it, then I played like a 2200 after move 40. That's what he did this game. Game was equal the whole game. Then he's like, I want to go back to China. I hate this place. Like, he doesn't have... when you're a super GM, you can't fade, okay? And fading is something that I talk with when I had students, with my high-rated students, okay? The reason at the top level, players are higher rated than other players, like 2800s are higher than 2700s, 27s are higher than 2600s, and etc. At the lower levels, the reason somebody's higher rated is they make 4 blunders a game and their opponent makes 7, but that's different. So at the top level, everybody plays really well, okay? They're playing great. As you noted before the stream started, or during the stream, Gawain Jones was playing great, then he would lose. Exactly. That's called fading. Gawain Jones plays just as well as his super GM opponent until he doesn't. So the first 30, 40, 50 moves, you don't know who the better player is. Then the last 10 moves, you're like, oh, I guess that guy's the worst player. And he did that like 4 times this tournament. Gawain Jones had winning and drawing positions, which he threw away. And he was really upset. I mean, he was sitting there choking on his own rage because he knows. Everybody knows. And that's what Wang Hao's done. Wang Hao is really good. And this tournament, he's playing like a Potzer at some point in the game. He's fading. And that's ridiculous. That's like what I would do, not what Wang Hao should do. Wang Hao should play 27-60, 27-70 the whole game, not the first 30 moves and be like, that's enough. And that's a lot of weak players do that. I should have drawn because I played good for some period of time and then I forgot. And that's what he did this game. He made, in the last 10, 15 moves, like 5 mistakes. And before that, it was just all zeros. The mistakes are very small, but he's playing Fabi. So you can't do that. Terrible. Okay, so King H1's bad because now you can play Bishop E4, and this pawn is shallow and pedantic. Okay, so he goes here. You can't take the bishop because it's pinned. So, and then he stops the pawn. He's lined up here. This is pinned, and this is indefensible. So black is winning. Queen takes d6. I didn't think the game ended here. I thought he kept playing. I guess the game did end here. Now, black's completely winning, and white was ashamed of his play. He knew that he was fine, and this is move 42. So now he sat there choking on his own rage, and he's like, all right. But yeah, it looked like Fabi was equal, then slightly better, then clearly better, then he won. And that's how Fabi would beat some 2600 player. That's not how he should beat Wang Hao. He shouldn't beat Wang Hao from a drawn position that's nobody's better. Terrible. How do you prevent fading? You have to realize that you do it, and you have to concentrate and try harder when you're tired after 4 hours. And that's how I got a lot better. I would lose a lot of games due to that when I was up and coming as a junior. And then I got mentally tougher near the end. And that's why I win a lot of games in USCF rated play against players 2100 to 2400. If you watch the game, you're like, why is that guy a grandmaster? He's not better than the other guy. And then on move 35, 45, 55, the guy shows who he is. Sort of like in Seinfeld, when the guy took it out. He took it out. And then later, the guy said, I don't know what the problem was. And Jerry said, you showed her who you were. So he took it out. So I win a lot of games in slow rated play where I'm not winning. And my opponent's 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 points lower than me. Then they prove their rating later. And I'll give you an example. We'll see if Karen remembers. I'm going to guess she does. I was playing at Georgia Tech before you guys were born, about 3 years ago. And I was playing at 2200, and the position was complicated. It wasn't clear who was better, and we both had no time on our clock. And people were telling Karen, like, man, I think Ben might lose. What Karen didn't know is I don't lose. She didn't know that. And you remember that I was playing 2200. It was that the black guy who comes here.
Oh, in Bono?
No. He's higher rated than Bono, I think.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
What's his name? I know his name. He's come here several times. Mm-hmm. Usually shows up late for the round.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He resigned a game here when he wasn't losing because he was mad. Sort of like Wang Hao. Like he had a drawn position that he was pressing, then he blundered, so now he's not pressing, so he resigned. That was terrible. Anyway, there's a lot of games I play, even on the stream, where you guys are like, well, Ben's going to lose this game. Ridiculous. And then you're like, what? For example, last night, I played a 2250 chess bra with a U, not with an A. Mm-hmm. And he had rook and 2 against rook and 1 on the same side. So I was trying to draw. I was trying to win. And then I won. I won both of his pawns and I won. Because you have to play at a high level the whole game. You can't just stop because I'm already doing well. And this is an example of, Wang Hao just doesn't care. He doesn't care. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's embarrassing for somebody that high rated to twice in the last 4 days lose completely equal positions by just fading. By okay, now I'm going to play like a bad player. And that's what he did this game. Same as with the Nepomniachtchi game. And I didn't see the press conference, but people were just like, yeah, Wang Hao doesn't want to play anymore. He just wants to go home. I never heard of 2760 in a candidates tournament and be like, I just want to go home. I'll resign. That's nonsensical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, speaking of fading, I'm fading. So, How many more games?
Only 2 more. The 2 complicated ones.
All right. Darn.
She had the second shot, so.
Well, I can't.
She's immune to my jokes.
I'm tired a little bit. And plus, I have to get home and make sure Archer gets. I could maybe watch one more game.
Yeah.
And then I'll go home.
Da, 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 da.
I do want to go home, Raj. I'm tired.
Da, 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 da.
I had my second shot today, but I don't think that's why I'm tired. But who knows? Maybe.
Living with me makes you tired. Man, truth hurts.
I'm just busy.
Okay. Then we got the game Jan Nepomniachtchi, which pronounced wrong, against MVL, which I pronounced right. And Karen and I plan to go to Dubai to watch the World Championship. Hopefully they'll let us watch. 1,000 sentences. No, we have 2 more games, but Karen's going to stay for another one.
Lick my hatron.
Mm-hmm. Rick and Morty jokes? All right. She's watched a lot of Rick and Morty's. And Rick's and Morty. Yeah. Okay, why was Rick mad at Morty after he was done playing a video game at Blips and Chips? Why was he mad at him?
I'm not going to know.
If you don't know, you can't guess. You have to know.
I don't know.
Okay. Because in the video game, he beat cancer, and then he went back to the carpet store to work. And Rick really disliked that. He's like, you beat cancer? Then you went back to the carpet store? Oh, man, he was furious. I mean, he'd never been so mad. Yeah, see, look, went back to the carpet store. Yeah. Yeah, they know. They know what's up. Okay. Oh, so something you have to do, which I told you yesterday, but now I'm serious. There's a skit, a cartoon that's like 6, 7, 8 minutes long. I think it's 8 minutes. It's a Rick and Morty cartoon. It's only on YouTube. It's not on TV. And it's based on a court case that happened in Georgia, like in the last year or so. And it's a back and forth between the judge and the defendant. And it's the funniest thing you've ever heard. And when they saw the transcript, they recreated it with Rick and Morty as the judge and the defendant. And when you watch the Rick and Morty, it's like funny and there's a lot of swearing and stuff. But you have to realize that it's a transcript. It actually happened. It's hard to believe that it happened. But they just followed the transcript. So you should watch that. It's a few minutes long. Look for it on YouTube. I don't know the link, but you'll figure it out.
The original, you mean?
The original what?
The real court case that it was based on.
Yeah. That court transcript is hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. First of all, it's just funny in its own right. But it's unbelievably funny that it's a true story. No, it said it was a Georgia court. Florida court would also be correct.
Does he say that? He's holding himself in contempt.
Yeah. Yeah, he tells the judge this is a kangaroo court, and the guy says we're not in Australia. That's what the judge tells the defendant. Yeah. No, I mean, I can't talk a lot about what it is because every word is a swear word. Every word is disgusting and sexual and swearing. And then the judge gets into it too. He's like, all right, I can talk like you. Yeah.
Okay. I had to see it.
Okay. Anyway.
All right, so let's do one more game and then I have to go home.
There's a New York Times reproduction that's also hilarious. Yeah.
I better not get headaches.
So dropping out to watch that. That's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, one time I was on a fishing trip. I didn't feel well. You know why? I had a headache. All right. So knight f3, and MVL has to win. Some of the commentators understood, and some didn't. Some of the commentators are like, oh, MVL's playing bad, ridiculous. Yeah. MVL has to win with black. Okay? So technically, which is the best kind of correct, technically, MVL could still have won the tournament and played Magnus. He'd have to win both games, hope that Giri lost today, and then hope that Nepomniachtchi loses tomorrow. He could, but so he has to win. And so he made the game messy. And what most people didn't know is Jan with white, man, I can't make the joke because I can't think of his name. God, it would have been great if I had continued. I figured it out finally. Mm-hmm. Now, I said MVL wanted to make the game messy, right? Okay. And Jan wanted to make the game Ronaldo. So that's why it was different.
Okay.
All right. Now, what most people don't know is MVL has a monster plus score against like 5-1 or 5-0. Some crazy head-to-head score. All right. So MVL played crazy like Fox News, the double fianchetto. You know those fianchettos that are like double fianchettos? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, in this position, Ponomarev on Twitter was like, whoa, why didn't MVL play here? Because, you have c5, and you stop the knight from moving here. Or you could move there, but you could trade. So he thought it was crazy not to go here. Ponomarev thought it was insane not to go here. That's the engine's second move, but okay. He played this. So MVL's playing very strange because he has to win with black, and he figures this is the best chance to win with black, not to let Jan play 25 moves of prep. And as you all know, they don't know, that Jan had 4 seconds for this tournament, sort of like when you guys go to tournaments. And he had his usual seconds, then he had a secret illegal second. Tell him who it was, darling.
What now?
Who was his secret illegal second that nobody knew about?
Oh, yeah. You did tell me.
Yeah.
I forgot. It was strange, too.
That's correct.
It was strange.
Peter
Leko.
Leko.
Yeah, Leko.
Man, 4 seconds for a tournament.
I was surprised by that.
Damn. That's like a world championship match, 4 seconds. It's an important tournament. Mm-hmm. Okay. So White's obviously much better. White has more space. This bishop, sunks donkey balls. So it's, good for White. White's doing great. Okay. Then he played knight e8. Again, he's trying to play weird because he has to win. He doesn't want White to have an easy time of it. His knight's going to go to d6, confusing the audience. Sometimes you see the knight on d6 and the bishop, and actually, no, it's e6. I was wrong. It's e6. So you never see the knight on d6. I was thinking of accelerated dragon variation, but that's the knight goes here. Okay. So it's very weird. Basically, MVL's playing like the way I play when I play 1 minute against like a 900, and then I still lose. All right. So Nepomniachtchi got connect 4, and MVL has tic-tac-toe. So it's a big fight. Rook e8, bishop e5 is good. And this is funny because he plays e6, and then he plays e5, right? And they showed this position to the soup Nazi, and he said, no en passant for you. Because he played e6, e5. Yeah. So the game's all blocked up and weird. The engine always likes White, because White's got this going on. I mean, so, bishop's no good. Always retreat. Wants to play b4. He does. Okay. Now this knight's terrible, but this is a little weaker because it's not defended. So black could get some kind of, hit him when he's up, hit him when he's down, hit him when he's up, hit him all around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then he would fly like an eagle. Mm-hmm. What? All right. So black has counterplay here potentially, and black has counterplay here potentially. Now, obviously, the engine likes White because White has more space, and it plays properly. The engine wants to play c5, which is a pawn sacrifice, and Nepomniachtchi plays e4, building his center. If you build it,
they will come.
They will come, right? Especially Dr. Pepper. In Love and Death, when he agrees to a gunfight, a duel, he says, my seconds will contact your seconds. And Woody Allen says, if my seconds aren't available, tell them to contact my thirds. If my thirds aren't available, tell them to contact my fourths. Rick and Morty court thing is hilarious. That is correct. It's extra hilarious because it happened. Yeah. You're having a stroke missing these references? Yeah. If you saw the stream last night, you'll get the Dr. Pepper reference. I'll explain it to Karen later. Okay, so f4, it's disgusting. Okay.
Dr. Pepper?
The thing I'm referencing with Dr. Pepper is disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. It's a joke I heard before you were born. I was a kid.
I still don't know the joke.
Good. If I tell you the joke, you'll be like, that's disgusting. Okay. So, knight e2. This is all defended. This is blocking. The bishop and knight are bad, and they should feel bad. It's hard to attack when you're attacking with a pawn, and white has all these pieces here. Now, I like this move by MVL, and here's why. This is the difference between super GMs and the gawking rabble. The reason white played knight to e2 was to vacate this diagonal, much like in Giri's game with Wang when Giri played b3, queen d4, queen b2. He wants to get the queen here and trade queens. Then black obviously has no attack. Queens are off. And white still has this monster pawn storm against these terrible pieces. So the reason he played knight e2 is at some point, possibly now, he wants to take this, then put the queen on the diagonal. And MVL realized that when white played here. So MVL took on g3. Now you can't open up this diagonal and trade queens. Very good move. Okay, the engine plays hg, and Nepomniachtchi played fg. Probably that's not as good. And then c5. And they were analyzing c5 on the stream I was watching with Anand Hess and Danny Wrench. And if you want great chess analysis and you have Anand and Hess, make sure you add Danny Wrench. Now you have great analysis. If you watch that,
yeah,
Wrench just makes one joke after another to Anand, and Anand's like, what? It's like, it is. Yeah, Wrench is like, hey, Vichy, blah, 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 and Vichy's like, yeah, all right.
Like you and Hikaru?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was going to say like me and Hikaru. Vichy's like, thanks for having me on so you could tell stupid jokes and not look at the chess game.
I like Danny.
Yeah.
I like his jokes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't have Anand on and then, you start telling jokes.
Yeah.
Vichy's like, analyzing 100 moves ahead. So Vichy was looking at this, and they looked at takes, and they looked at takes, en passant. It's not clear that Jan knew the en passant rule because en passant is a French term, and he's playing a Frenchman, so he probably thought that would be a risky venture. Okay. The engine right now on depth 28, does take en passant, says white is slightly better. He took here, and now black sacrificed a pawn. And this is a human move. Probably the engine will always take this way, but then the knight is on a6. So he took with the knight. He's like, I don't care about this pawn. I care about activity. The extra pawn is this one. That's not dangerous. It's blocked. So all the GMs liked the pawn sack. The engine did not, because white's up a pawn. Now, Queen's E8 confused everybody.
I mean, why couldn't he just move the knight the next move? I don't understand.
Well, the pawn would be here, so he couldn't move his knight there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's a great square for the knight.
But,
He could go here. That's why the engine wants to take with the pawn. Now, again, he wasn't concerned with the pawn. He was concerned with activity. His rook is active on the open file. His queen is. This bishop can't move anywhere. These knights are excellent. These are sort of passive. The king is exposed on the diagonal. So everybody was expecting an attack here, like rook f8, queen g5, rawr. But he retreated because...
He's French?
He's French. He retreated, yeah. Yeah, and what's funny is when they agreed to a draw and they were going to analyze the game, MVL said, I surrender. It was strange, yeah. It was like a kangaroo court, except they weren't in Australia. Okay. Now, you want to make $1 trillion?
Yeah, you already owe me several trillion.
But here's another one, okay? The playing venue, the city,
yeah.
Okay, it's considered the third city of Soviet Russia. Moscow 1, St. Petersburg 2. Where are they playing? It has 1.5 million people.
Let's see, Moscow 1.
St. Petersburg, which used to be Leningrad, which used to be St. Petersburg. Probably Constantinople somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember my Russian cities.
Look at that. Look at that answer.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Oh.
And here's what's funny. It used to be called that. They changed the name from that to that. Now I'm going to tell you why the city's named that. It's named after Catherine the Great. That's the Russian kind of Catherine.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, I heard it's nice. They built a lot of skyscrapers and so forth. All right, so he doubled up on the bubble up, and he's a pawn up, but black has good compensation. And this very passive way that he played, that made sure he had no winning chances. And he made a very bad move later, which just made sure he could never win, and he could probably draw. Knight d1, always retreat. Psychological warfare against the Frenchman. Defending his pawn. Now he can go here and defend it again, right? Okay. And rook b8 is pathetic. If black wants to win, and he has to win, he has to keep all the pieces on the board. This leads to a worse ending where he's going to draw or lose. What's the rook doing here? Is it going here? Is it going here? No. So we should start attacking the king, and you could play like knight here, and try to get in there. And you could play knight here and here. You could draw more arrows if you were a better player, like Hakaru. But I'm not a better player, so I can't. Mm-hmm. Rook b8, the commentators were furious. Furious.
So why didn't, like, when it went queen d8?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that.
Why didn't the rook just take
Right, I'm going to answer that. Okay. Yeah, I knew what you were going to ask. Yeah, after rook takes, you're Von trapped. Not see good.
I was trying to see if it was trapped.
Yeah, you can't go Vishwa nowhere. But I looked at this earlier before you were born, and it says rook takes is equal, but nobody wants, because you have 2 pawns for the exchange. But, I mean, this bishop's no good. The pass pawns are blocked. It's good winning chances for black. Yeah. And after some move like queen g5 has a different reason why if you take this, I have like queen here check. So you could play rook f8 and queen g5 and, try to penetrate. Okay. So rook b8 giving away all chances of black ever winning. So this is a 2-result game. White wins because it's up a pawn, or white doesn't win. But black never wins, ever. So this is, MVL gave up. He's like, I guess I can't win. Let me draw now. Now, normally in this position where white's a pawn up for nothing, but it's like almost impossible to win, you would try to win forever, right? But Jan, who made the time control, looked over at Giri's game and he said, frankly, delicious. So he knew what was going to happen in Giri's game, so agreed drawn. Now, they might have drawn if the game went forever, but white might have won. White's up a pawn. But I don't know how he wins. It would take 1,000 moves of maneuvering. But he wouldn't agree to a draw here if it wasn't for the other game. He would have kept playing. But he knew what he was doing. All right. Last but not least, Grischuk versus Giri, the game of the day. I already made a video about this on the chess.com YouTube page, etc. Yeah, don't forget about the train. You guys forgot. Who was Von Tripe again? What?
All right, so I'm going to miss the last game.
Yeah.
I was here for most of it. So,
yeah.
Bye. Everybody have fun.
Yay, look, my Hadron gave 5 cents to dues. Subs, I do.
Hadron. I've never heard of that. Is that a city?
No, it's supposed to be lick my heart on, but he changed it so it doesn't get banned.
Oh.
Yeah. I think the Hadron is some kind of molecular.
I'm too innocent.
Switzerland and Illinois. Isn't that what Hadron is?
I didn't think it was hard on.
Yeah, the Hadron Collider.
The Collider, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
I said it's Switzerland and Illinois.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I see.
I mean, it's not Switzerland and Illinois, but I tried.
Yeah,
Super Collider.
I know a little bit about that because my son was.
That's going to destroy the world, except for one thing. Yeah, it blows up the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the Hadron, you guys don't know this, terrible, was founded by Chris Cornell. True. And he wrote a song about it. Blow up the outside world. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, black hole. Yeah.
Stu Marak subscribed. 299 cents to dues. Hooray. CERN is in Switzerland. Batavia, Illinois. You married a guy who knows Illinois and Switzerland is where they are. See? I said Switzerland and Illinois, and that's where they are. I'm not as dumb as I look, seem to be, or the best testing indicated.
All right, bye.
Yeah. Yay! Dankel gave 1 cent to do.
Oh, wait. Oh.
Yay, we're banned. Karen's phone went off, so now we're banned and her children's children are banned.
We'll have to meet that out, sorry.
What? Yeah.
Can you just put a marker there?
Could somebody put a marker to bleep out Donna Summer?
Sorry, I didn't even do anything.
Otherwise, we'll be banned and our children's children.
You have to put it there. Like,
Somebody do it.
slash
Marker, bleep out Donna Summer.
Thank you. Sorry about
Did that work? Yeah, okay. Well, it says it, but I don't know if it worked. Isn't there some... Are you guys... yeah, you guys are moderators.
Yeah, it's there.
All right.
Mr. Popezilla did it. Maybe others.
It's 1:40 in.
Okay.
Like,
good.
write yourself a
Darn, I
message.
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Yep.
All right.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for Donna Summer. 1:40. Yeah. Donna Summer's the best. If you don't like Donna Summer, you're banned. Okay, let's go, hype train. Let's go. Do it. Higgs Boston walked into a church. Get out of here. Reply, but without me, how can you have mass? Damn, truth hurts. Yeah. Disco. Donna Summer, good. Her best song, Hot Stuff, I Feel Love. Those are like number 5 and 6. Maybe. Grischuk is always in the chat. Why wouldn't Grischuk be in the chat? Also, Grischuk's not in the chat. Grischuk's like the only GM who's probably funnier than me. He has a dry humor. No. Dim All the Lights is a great song. Agreed. Yeah. That's top 5 for sure. Dun, dun. Sasha Bin Laden? Close. He was a laugh riot. Yay! GM Yusuf is, getting towards his $100 donation. When I was playing chess in my 20s, in tournaments, in my teens, smoking was allowed. I had a lot of smoke on the board. Yeah. And there was a fire in the sky. Terrible. Dun, 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 dun. His comedic timing is better than his time management, yeah. P. Buena01 gave 100 centidues. Hooray. Go Deep Purple. That's what she said. Dun, dun, dun. 500 centidues. My analysis is great and I should feel great. I used to be good at chess. Now I'm good at explaining chess. But I hang a queen every move and lose on time and don't know whose turn it is and I mouse slip. What was my list of excuses? Favorite stand-up comedian? Not me, because... Yeah, GM Yusuf is the one who said, give me $100. He gives you like 4 cents at a time. So in 20 years, I'll have that $100. Bronstein in 1990, April 1990, in Iceland, Reykjavik, was black against Rafael Vaganyan. Thanks for the 200 centidues, except for the F3. If you have some free time on your hands, write out Rafael Vaganyan, and it's an anagram of the funniest thing you've ever heard. Anyway, Vaganyan played D4. Bronstein thought for 15 minutes, and Karen's like, so what? And played knight F6, and he lost on time on move 40. Before he made his 40th move, his flag fell. And I asked him why he thought 15 minutes on move 1, and Bronstein said I was just calming myself down. And I was like, you're a genius of the highest caliber. Okay, we need 2 subs to get to level 4. Do it! I've had many discussions with Bronstein. I was on a train with him. I've played him a few times. Yeah. No, Raphael with an F. Rafael. Bye, sweetie. 10 seconds. We need 2 subs. No, we're dying on level 3 with 1,500 people watching? Boo, boo. Your donations are bad and you should feel bad. GM Youssef, yay. Tariq DC gifted a sub, hooray. What was my worst blunder? Nobody knows. Thanks, Tariq DC. 7 subs, 1,200 bits, Papa John's. I guess ordering from Papa John's at some point, that was a pretty bad blunder. Yeah, there we go. The anagram of that is very funny. Yeah, John Spielman, the British Grandmaster, when he was in St. John in 88, and probably before and after, he would make anagrams of all the GM's names, and that was easily the funniest one. Yeah. 100 centidues, Wired Momar. Hooray. I can guess one word of that anagram. That is correct. The other words go well with it. Sergei Ancheski, 5 centidues. Ever go to a game? No, not a rated game. No. DM if you want the answer. Very good. I have no opinion about no castling chess. I just play regular chess. Highest all-time rating. FIDE was 2563. USCF was 2663. And that was 15 years ago-ish. Papa John's. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum, bum. He typed it in Google search bar. That's good. Do you think any GMs went to the game high? Yes. I have not seen Pete Davidson's roast of Justin Bieber. Those are 2 random people. I mean, what are you talking about? Pseudo Shams subscribe with Prime. Hooray. The more you subscribe, the more subs I have. Let's try to get to 3,300 subs before the stream ends. Let's see how many I have. Oh, stats. Jesus. She only helps those who help themselves, though. That's unfortunate. 3263. There you go, Victor Andry. That is correct. So we need 37 subs. Which top GM is most hated by their peers? They don't really hate each other. Nobody hates anybody. So it would be like, who's the most disliked? Also, Hikaru's not in the top 10, so you don't have to make fun of him. He's like 17th or 18th. Let me look at the top 10. 2,700 chess. Dun, dun, dun. No, 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 no. No, no. No, 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 no. I'm trying to see a GM in the top 2,700 who other GMs don't like very much. I can't find one. No, I don't see a 2,700 player that other GMs don't like. They're all great. Yeah. The other GMs don't hate Kramnik or Topolov. No. Dun, dun, dun. Nobody hates anybody. Everybody's the best. If I was in the top 10, then I'd give you an answer. God damn. I would definitely be the most hated, and then some. No, not really. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, last game. And this game, I already made a video on it. So, for the... as I said before, G3, the Catalan, prevents B6. And he played B6, Giri. So... this is a Queen's Indian. This is just a normal Queen's Indian. Then he played Bishop B4 check. If you go back to E7, it's a regular Queen's Indian. It's just a Queen's Indian. So like Bishop D2, Bishop E7. In fact, Grischuk has had black in this position and did play Bishop E7. So, but you can also play A5, C5, or takes. Giri played the least common move, C5. Now, when I used to play the Bogo Indian, which is before 80% of the chat was born, I played C5. And when I was 2,300 rated, I played in the Cardinal Open in Worthington, Ohio, suburb of Columbus, and I played this against Joel Benjamin. He didn't know it very well. On move 11 or 12, I had a big advantage. And one of us offered the other a draw, and it was accepted. And that was by far the strongest player I'd ever drawn. He was like 2670, and I was like 2320. I used to play this a lot, but I probably haven't played it in 25 years because I don't play Bogo Indian anymore. Okay, and the person you're going to see often in America who has black in these kinds of positions where you don't know if it's a Catalan, a Queen's Indian, or a Bogo Indian is Priyadarshan Kanappan, the Indian GM who lives in St. Louis. Now, it could be he doesn't live in St. Louis and he's back in India or he moved somewhere else. That's the latest knowledge I have. And I met him in India in 2011. He played Ray Robson in the World Junior, and I was coaching Ray Robson. And then a few years later, he moved to St. Louis to go to university. And he graduated, and he was at the St. Louis Chess Club a lot. But I don't know where he lives now. I haven't seen him in a long time. I've played him a few times. I have a very bad record. But the last time, but in the last 3 years, I beat him a really good game. But he was always beating me. Basically, the first 2 times I played him, I lost on time, writing down his name, Priyadarshan Kanappan. And then I did a lot of preparation for the next time we played. And I just put Priyadarshan K. And I did better that game. I think I drew. Dun, 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 dun. He's in India right now? Good, good. Okay. Yeah, the truth hurts. He's one of the few Indians, if not the only one. And there's a lot of Indians. He doesn't like cricket. And when I say he doesn't like cricket, it's not that he doesn't like the game cricket. He doesn't like the behavior of his countrymen about cricket. It's like everybody goes insane for cricket, and he's like, okay, cricket's okay, but, stop. That can't be all you think about. And that's all they think about. So he was mad. Yeah. Never seen an Indian guy mad about cricket, but there's one of them. So there you go. For $1 million? Man, you might actually give me the $1 million. I mean, I know Priyadarshan, so asking me what it means, you're risking something. Luckily, I don't know, so you win. You hate cricket too? Man, your name's really Indian. Ashish Prasad. God damn. That's a pretty Indian name. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Mm-hmm. I had an Indian friend student before you guys were born named Krishnan Sudarshan, and he's about 2,000 and in Michigan. And he told me he was playing cricket in a cricket league, and I said, are there any other Indian players like yourself? Who came to him? He says they're all Indian, so that was funny. Dun, dun, dun. Mm-hmm. Dun, dun. Yeah, Svidler and Nigel like cricket. Nigel's not a soccer fan. He's like, everybody loves soccer. He's like, eh. And he's like, but cricket, now you're talking. Yeah. You literally ate crickets. Frankly, crunchy. Okay, yeah, by the way, Rickety Cricket is a genius of the highest caliber. He's my favorite character on Sunny, who's not, the original, the 4 or 5 characters. Although Artemis is great. I mean, they're all great. All the extras are great. But I really love Rickety Cricket. He's one of the producers of the show. And my second favorite episode, probably my third or fourth, it's top 5, is Wrestling for the Troops. And Cricket steals the show. Man, Cricket's great. When Cricket hits D with the garbage can, that's one of the greatest moments in TV history. I did not see that coming. That was like in the movie Derailed when the guy gets shot in the car. When he's explaining to Clive Owen, you got to surprise your opponent and you make sure he's not ready, and then he gets shot. But unexpectedly from outside. That reminds me of when Rickety Cricket hits a Sweet D That's just great. Everything he did. Terrorists rule. Americans suck. La, 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 la. And that was great. Go Rickety Cricket, etc. What movie is Rickety Cricket? Oh, Derailed. Derailed's a great movie. It has Vincent Cassell, Clive Owen, Jennifer Aniston, the RZA, and the Jizza. Don't forget it. You don't like Derailed? You can go to another stream and talk about the Flintstones movie and the sequel. All good. Me and the RZA, correct. Connect. Oh, yeah. I played chess against the RZA, so there you go. All right. Viva Rock Vegas, yeah. Yeah, classical music is da bomb. That's why you can't take it on a plane. Gail the Snail. Yeah, Gail's great. Yeah. Hooray. Did RZA win? The game didn't end. Okay. So Giri played c5. You can take or not. He took. That's fine. And then, boring, And Karpov has had this position many times. He played queen d3 once and then knight d2. Probably knight d2 is more common. Okay. And this has all been played. And there's a Karpov game with Polagaevsky, Kasparov game, which Kasparov won. And there's also a Karpov game that he won. So Karpov and Kasparov both had white in this position. And then knight e1, and you can also play knight f1. And Karpov and Kasparov, one played this, one played that. He did it like this. He did it like that. He did it with the wiffle ball bet. So I'm on the run. The cop got my gun. Right about now, it's time to have some fun. The king had rock. That is my name, and I know the fly spot where they got the champagne. Don't forget it. There was a funny thing on the internet like 3 or 4 days ago on Twitter. They showed a picture of the Beastie Boys that are alive, not the guy who died. And they looked like, 60-year-old, accountants. They didn't look like they'd ever been famous. They looked like two schlubs. Yeah, they didn't look like the Beastie Boys. Frankly, terrible. Let's see. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. All I really want is girls. Dun, 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 2 at a time. Yeah, the Beastie Boys were on Futurama. Okay, so he played 91, and this was shocking and appalling. In this position, to me, king takes g2 looks like the right move because you want your knight to go to one of these squares and, put pressure here. But only knight takes g2 has been played previous to this game, and white had 5 wins and black had 2 wins, and there were no draws. And this position is pretty equal, so no draws is weird. And the engine does prefer king takes g2. I don't think it was prep. This doesn't seem like a prepared line. It could be. But, white's a tiny bit better, but nothing to speak of. h5, as Anand put it, doesn't make any sense. Obviously, they're always playing h5. They're putting it in h. And probably the reason Giri played h5 is he knew Anand would do commentary on the chess.com, Twitch and YouTube, and he wanted Anand to say h. So that's probably why he did it. And he did. He said h5. Yeah. Now, that's gonna be bad later. Luckily, it wasn't. Okay, he forced a reckoning, like in Tombstone, and the reckoning happened. And rook b8 is very passive, but you can't lose this pawn. The funniest thing, which I said on the game of the day, was a couple of engines said this was the best move, and I'll never understand why that's better than this. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Yeah, the engine right now is saying that this is the best move. What? Why is that better than rook a8? Ridiculous. Okay, so Giri proved he wasn't cheating again. Man, did he prove he wasn't cheating this game. Oh, snap. Yay, it's LJ Ganzi. You're the best person who ever lived. Yeah. Right, and also, as you pointed out, and I pointed out earlier, every round I say the same thing, because always repeat. I say that You must win. And if you win and you keep winning and the other people don't win as much, you win the tournament, you play Magnus at the end of the year, and if you win, it changes your life totally. Even by losing, it changes your life. So Nepomniachtchi is, looking good now. Before he played in some Super GM tournaments and he did okay, But now that he's playing for the World Championship, the big advantage over somebody who's not playing is not only do you get all that money when you play, if you win and become world champion, you get a lot more money just for being world champion, more appearance fees, and you whore yourself out to companies, and then you play another world championship match. So you must win. And Giri's black needs to go 2-0. If he goes 2-0, he might get more points than opponent might. Yeah. And then he would play Magnus. And that's not Giri's style, must win with black. That's not who he is. So H5, and he's making the game asymmetrical, and he thought he was being cute, but it looks like he's being obtuse. So let's see, Anand. Me and Anand are like, that, son. I've known Anand for 35 years? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've known Anand for 35 years. I played him 35 years ago. Man, that's how old we are. We showed everybody. Okay, so E4, which was panned by they didn't like E4. The reason they don't like E4, the critics, E4 is fine, is after E5, this pawn can't be defended by a pawn, which it could have here, and therefore the knight's going to get to C5. So positionally, that's going to help black, and this pawn could be weak. Knight here, queen here, knight here, rook here. So a lot of the commentators didn't like E4, but E4 is good. Queen D3, defending everything. And knight C7, knight E6 is weird, because his knight can get to C5 just by taking. So I'm not a big fan of this. Okay, then Anand said something very funny. Okay, he said, my hair is real. And then everybody was on the floor laughing, including him, because, it was a joke. Okay, Anand said, ooh, I think rook b5 is good. Let's look at rook b5. And they looked at it, and then Grischuk played rook b5. And Anand's like, yeah, I don't like that. I know I suggested it, but I don't like it. So that was funny. Dun, 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 bum, bum, bum. I like when I say things that are obviously jokes, and you're like, I guess that's not happened. No. Yeah, nobody's laughing at my joke. They're just laughing at my analysis. Okay, I don't care. Okay, now he played rook e8, which confused the audience. The audience, the GM commentators wanted to play h4, put it in h. And h4 is a reasonable move. And one of the ideas, other than putting it in h, is knight h5, and you're threatening to win the queen. So that's, reasonable. And h4 would cause Grischuk some issues because he has to figure out how to meet it. And I never meet anything because I'm a vegan, so I would just lose. Kirkland JG subscribed. Yeah. Now, in my opinion, this is my opinion, Anish played very well this game, just like Wang Hao, until he didn't. Once upon a time, Anish was falling in love, but now he's only falling apart. Anish was slightly worse or equal the first, 20, 25 moves of the game, and then the pressure was too much. Now, there's no way any of you will ever understand this because you're not 2,800. The pressure that you guys feel in situations that are not as important as this, you think like, well, they're 27, 2,800. They don't feel the pressure like I do. when you play a board game and the result of this board game could change your life forever, that's an abnormal situation. If Anish Giri plays for the world championship or becomes the world champion, it's millions of dollars of difference, fame. For the rest of history, he was a world champion. And if he doesn't play for the world championship, then who's Giri? I never heard of him. And, and Sopiko's like, dude, I've had enough of you. Where's Magnus? Okay. Maybe Jan. Okay. So tremendous pressure on Giri. And, he played really well and then he didn't. Grischuk, no pressure. Grischuk wins, loses, or draws. He'll make some jokes in the press room and he'll leave. But, Giri needs to win. And even if you tell yourself not to feel the pressure because it'll make you play worse, I mean, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing. And I used to have an argument with a 1900 rated friend of mine, and he got mad at me as per usual, like all the people I know do. And I was explaining to him, when I lose a tournament game, that's worse than when he loses. And then he fired back. He's like, you guys always think that like low-rated players don't care when we lose, but we do. And he was like, rawr. And I said, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I said, when you lose, it doesn't change your life. You go to work on Monday. When I lose, I don't eat. I don't pay my rent. The only way I make money is through chess. So if I lose the last round and it costs me $1,000, that's bad. If you lose the last round, it doesn't cost you $1,000 because you're not playing for that. But if it did, you weren't expecting any money. You're playing a tournament, you go to work next day. And he was like, yeah, okay, you're right. So being a professional chess player at a lower level like me, not the top 10 in the world, but some random GM, you play in weekend tournaments, the World Open, Chicago Open, stuff like that, National Open, all kinds of tournaments. And sometimes in the last round, you lose thousands of dollars. And that's no fun because you need that money to live. And I'm in a situation now where that's not the case. So I'm just playing for fun when I go to a tournament. Now I just try to have no draws. And the young people, they're playing for norms and they're playing like geniuses because they go home to their mommy. When you're age 10 to 17 and you're kicking my ass, which you are, if I beat you and you don't win any prize money, you go home. You don't care. So when you're in your 20s and 30s and you're a professional chess player and you travel tournament to tournament, which used to be the case, it's a sad existence because sometimes you get paid, sometimes you don't. And now there's online and there's private lessons and there's streaming, there's videos. Now there's a lot more ways to make money. But, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, if you were like me, you went to tournaments and you hoped you got a prize. And then if you didn't, you were like, damn, didn't win a prize. So this is a huge moment in Anish Giri's life. If he wins this game and wins the next game, probably going to play Magnus at the end of the year. And, so very hard to play now. So far he's played fine, and unfortunately goes downhill. Rookie, it's okay. He wants to put pressure on the e-pawn, as I said earlier. White could take the pawn on e5. It's a pawn sacrifice. The engine doesn't like it very much. It thinks black is doing okay because these are weak. The c5 square is available later. That black can take over the d file. Knight g4 later. And the extra pawn doesn't mean much right now. So the engine thinks this is about equal. The rook on e5 is in a strange square. So instead he played h4, stopping black from playing h4. g6 is sort of slow. He could still take this and play knight c5. Still in the drawing zone. f3, never do that. Stops this, protects this. It's not clear what black can do now. Now, if this was a normal random game that wasn't to see who played Magnus, Giri would be very solid and try to draw the game, but he can't do that. Got to win. So knight d7, knight f1, here comes the knight. And in this position, black should be fine. And he played the wrong plan, and he was not fine. Because he has 2 squares for his knights. Those are good squares. And these pawns are isolated and weak. This pawn's isolated and weak. This pawn's backward and weak. If you don't believe me, you can ask Farnsley 69. Obviously, white's threatening here. He played knight e5. Not the engine move, but it's fine. Okay. And this is the last chance he had to likely draw. Likely. He has to play rook c8 and rook c5. And then he's slightly worse. You know, maybe white would still win because, you know, white can get the knight to d5. But I think Giri would have probably drawn. Giri can't play for a draw. Giri has to figure out how to win. And the rest of the game, he didn't play well. Okay, knight c6 is a bad move. And now this is weak. You've blocked your attack on the c pawn. The knight's is worse on c6. You can't attack with your rook. Can't attack with your knight. Now I can really attack this pawn. This is also not a good move. And now he made a very poor move. He has to put his knight back on e5, but he said he's never going back. And I was like, why? And he says, once you have black, you never go back. And I was like, all right. Then he went back. Knight e7. And now he's definitely losing. Queen d2. And this is a great knight. This knight just got worse. And white got his pieces on the right squares. You can't allow this. And when I say you can't allow that, he did. And if you play rook b d8, the b6 pawn's hanging. Rook e d8, double on the bubble up. The only way to not lose the pawn is to play the horrible knight c8. And then your knight can't leave c8. It's going to stay there the rest of the game. And you're giving away the d5 square. The engine doesn't even look at that move. It just says, which pawn should I lose? Okay. Now, Giri realized he was worse and or lost, and he went for broke, and then he was broke. And I asked Giri, and he was really sad. I said, you're from a broken home. And he said, yeah, we was broke, so what? So he was pretty mad. Black's losing here, but he accelerated his defeat by playing crazy like Fox News. F5. That's hopeless. This pawn's attacked a billion times. This pawn's going to be captured. This pawn's now weak. That just loses more quickly. He wouldn't have played like this if he needed a draw before the game. He would have played much more solid. And I always tell my students never move pawns, and both players moved all their pawns. And that was the last one. Now there's too many weaknesses. Bam! This was first played in the game Gotcha Bitch, which was, Grischuk mentioned it in the press conference. He said it with a Russian accent, though. Gotcha Bitch. Okay. Knight c6, also a bad move. And now the game is over for more than one reason. But Grischuk played the simplest every time. E takes f5. And the only way black cannot resign is to take this. Then you're up a piece. Okay, that loses more quickly, but at least you don't resign. Check. If king h8, h6 threatening mate and mate. And if you try to perpetual check, there's no more checks. And to show you how funny it is, the engine plays that. So you have to play king f8, which loses for the same reason. More than one way to win, but f6, threatening mate. If you stop the mate, you're a better player than I am. And it's the same. Check, check. Here, king g3. Here you can play here or here. This doesn't work. So you got to play here to stop queen g7 mate. Then queen here check. This is the only move. Rook g5. And, you know, are you kidding me? Yeah. And the engine says plus $1 billion. Yeah, it's forced mate, but it'll take it like a few minutes. The third best move is mate and 8. The second best move is plus 74. The best move is only plus 13 right now. So you get mated. If you play rook here to stop mate, it's mate and 3. This is mate, so that's bad. And this is the same mate. And it's the same deviled egg. Okay, so both players saw that taking the knight was hopeless. And if you can't take the knight, you have to resign. He didn't resign, which he would have done in a normal tournament because he's trying to get in the candidates. So, maybe Grischuk will get sick. Maybe Grischuk will forget about his clock. Maybe Grischuk will resign on purpose because he's insane. So you give him a chance to, resigning would have been best because the rest is a massacre. What's funny is Grischuk rarely played the computer engine best move. He always played the human, you have no chance move. Like the engine move is c5, and he played here, you can't take the pawn because the rook's hanging. If you take the rook and I take back, then you're getting crushed over here, and the knight on d6 defends c4. So he retreated. Then he retreated and defended his pawn. Attacked the rook. He retreated to stop him from being checked. Just no play for black. None. Then black wants to play b5. He's like, nope. And this is just the wrap it up button. This is just because he's trying to get to play Magnus. He knows he's dead lost. 2 pawns up for nothing. And here he resigned. The engines say like plus 4,000. White's got pass pawns to the right of him, pass pawns to the left of him, shattered and sundered, stormed at with passed pawns. Anish, who had fought so well, shattered and sundered. Oh. So the truth hurts. Look, my Hadron gave 5 subs. And if you want to see less funny analysis of this that ends more quickly, that's what she said, go to the chess.com YouTube page, and I do a game of the day recap for every round. And those videos are like 12 to 20 minutes long, and I just analyze the game. I don't make any X-rated jokes. I don't say anything silly. Just straight analysis, straight cash. And tomorrow, as I did last week, I'm doing live commentary on chess.com's YouTube and Twitch page if the round is over, and it will be, for Title Tuesday. And obviously Hikaru can't play in Title Tuesday or Fallujah or etc. because of the Magnus tournament. Now, it's possible, because I don't know, they have a rest day tomorrow. If they have a rest day tomorrow, all those guys will play in Title Tuesday. If they don't have a rest day, then that Magnus tournament is going to go on the same time as Title Tuesday. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm doing the live commentary. It might be on the chess.com Twitch page. If the tournament's still going on, and the candidates, then it'll be on the Chess.com events Twitch, which has like 6 followers. So it's not as good. No. And so forth. Go Danya. Feingold versus Chetyan de Boer. It's one of my favorite games. Vaikanze, probably 1991, unless it's not. Thanks for the subs and the donations and the bits. How close are we to 3,300? Because I'm going to leave soon. I got to go home and cry. Stats. When they brought you in here, I was crying like a pussy. Yeah. That's because they threw tear gas in my eyes. That's the shit they throw on crowds. But I took it like a man, not like some, they called them some names that I can't say on stream. And then they got up and they said, it ain't cool being no jive turkey so close to Thanksgiving. Back up. Back the F up. You've made bail. I have? Etc. Yeah, Giri resigned. The tournament's over as far as who's going to play Magnus. That's determined. Jan plays Magnus November, December, 14-game match in Dubai. Karen and I will likely be there if they let us go and watch and stuff. Also, if Giri wins tomorrow and Nepomniachtchi loses tomorrow, technically they tie for first. They have the same score, but we already know Jan's going to win on tie breaks. The first tie break is head-to-head, and he already beat Giri over a year ago in this tournament. Don't say that sentence too often. So as far as who plays Magnus, that's determined. But Giri could still tie for first. I doubt he'll win or Nepomniachtchi will lose because I think, hopefully I'm wrong, I hope, going to be some draws tomorrow. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Yeah, and pretty fast draws. Yeah. I don't know why anybody would want to play tomorrow. The tournament's over, and you get to go home and not think anymore. Chess is hard. But somebody's going to, somebody, like either Fabi or Grischuk. One of them is going to want to play for 7 hours. So, yeah. Etc. Yeah, these are what you asked about. What if Nepo's not alive before the match? I wonder these things about the presidency. And my brother, who's an attorney, he says that's all in the Constitution what happens, but nobody knows. So, for example, the primaries happen, and it's decided who the candidates are. Last time it was, Trump versus Joe Biden. Now, if Trump died between the election and when Biden's running against him, does Pence automatically become the candidate? And if Pence says, no, I don't want to be the candidate, then who's the candidate? And the same with Biden. If Biden had died, then who's the Democrat? Who decides it? And that's very similar to the World Championship if it's determined who's playing and then one of them dies. For example, if Magnus died, which seems really unlikely, is Nepomniachtchi the world champion? I don't know. I'm not even sure if there's regulations about that in FIDE. So I don't know. The person to ask is Nigel Short. Because if he didn't know, he could find out. But I have no idea what they'll do. What I do know is when Alekseenko died, there wasn't a challenger. So at some point they had a really strong tournament, and that winner was Botvinnik, and he became world champion. However, there is a challenger now. So, yeah, it's so unlikely any of them dies. One of our chess club members who comes here all the time, he's an actuary, just passed his 7th test. So he would tell you the percentage chance one of them would die before the event, and it's very low. Very low. Yeah, he'd sell you insurance on that. That's what actuaries do. Got to read the chess constitution. Yeah. Etc. Here's a question that I'm sure isn't covered in FIDE rules. I'm sure it's not. And when I say I'm sure it's not, I have no idea. There's no way it's covered. What if they both died? I think what FIDE would do is they would just have a tournament. And they'd either take the top 2 and play a match, or the winner's the champion. That's what I think would happen. But again, that's like 0.0001%. So, yeah. Everyone dying is my only chance to be world champion. And actually, that joke was made 30 years ago by Jonathan Spielman. Jonathan Spielman was asked, do you think you could become world champion when he beat Yasser in the candidates match in 1988? And he said, that would involve a very large airplane accident for him to be world champion. That was a funny answer. He was like number 10 in the world. So I guess the insinuation was if all the higher rated players were in a plane accident, he could be world champion. Who was the guy who died as world champion? Alekseenko. Yasser was a super GM question mark? Yeah, Yasser was like number 9 in the world. Yeah. Yasser beat Karpov and Kasparov when they were world champions. God damn. Americans don't do that. They do now, but when Yasser was one of the top players in the U.S., if not the top, probably the top, American players didn't beat Karpov and Kasparov. They just got their ass kicked. I can gish you luck. Gish you luck. Good luck, Sven. Also, yes, Hikaru once said when he was talking to some bigwigs, he says, yeah, before me himself, like, and Fischer obviously, the best American chess player ever is Yasser. So he put Yasser, Fischer, Hikaru, then Yasser. Now, I don't know if, Pillsbury would agree, or Frashevsky would agree, or Robert Byrne would agree, but, he might be right. I don't know. Yeah. Akhyokin. Alexander Akhyokin. I'm just telling you what he said. The point of the story is Hikaru overestimating himself. The point of the story is he holds Yasser in high esteem. Because he knows when Yasser was good. Akhyokin. Alexander Akhyokin. Ulf Anderson, not very American. Right. Well, Caruana wasn't, this wasn't in the conversation when he said it. This is many years ago. There was no case in and I saw a video about 6 months ago of Alekhine talking on video. His voice was very high and not what we were expecting. Yeah. And then I talked to Ving Rhames about it, and he referred me to Samuel L. Jackson, because they know Alekhine pretty well. And I told Sam Jackson, his voice is pretty high. And Sam Jackson said, does he look like a bitch? And I was like, no. Then why you treat him like a bitch, Ben? I didn't. Yes, you did, Ben. Yes, you did. So I had to apologize. I don't want to get shot. Kamsky at his best was better than Yasser at his best. That is correct. Yeah. All right, I guess I'm not getting my 3,300 subs. So who do I raid? Okay, you've raided me. I raid you. You raid me. 200 centidues. What was in the briefcase? Fen Beingold. The MacGuffin. Look up the word MacGuffin. It's not a word, but Alfred Hitchcock made up the word. The MacGuffin is in the briefcase. Fen Beingold. 3269 subs. Aronian. I think he's American. Thanks, Unlimited Rice Pudding. You guys are the best. If you want to know what's in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, you have to watch the Three Directors episode of Family Guy from last year, where Peter has the briefcase, gets the briefcase. Yeah. Now you listen to Alekhine now? God damn. Yeah. Nepomniachtchi, I would say 40-60 is his chances. Yeah. Orange light bulb is probably the most correct. I raid you, you raid me. The only word that rhymes is GM Canty. 'Cause he raided me yesterday. Give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling.